On this episode of the Comic Blast podcast, we talk about the positive reception for Captain Marvel so far, a potential Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney+, and much more. Coming up next. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. This is episode number 4. Grayson, we've been doing this for a month now.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like we were like little babies, and now we're toddlers.
We're getting better at this, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit by little. So we've been doing this for a month, and we're still not on iTunes.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I've had people talk to me about iTunes and message me about iTunes constantly. And why we're not on iTunes, it's not our choice. It's iTunes denying our application for the podcast for whatever reason. And I've tried to contact them. So if you guys are waiting for that, bear with us. In the meantime, I'll be writing mean letters to iTunes.
I hope they get it fixed soon, because it's getting to the point where this is just absolutely ridiculous.
I've had multiple podcasts before in the past, and it's usually been about a day, and then they've approved my podcast. And for whatever reason, we're on episode number 4, and we still haven't gotten approval from iTunes. So we're so sorry about that. If you guys, in the meantime, want to suggest another platform that you do happen to listen to a podcast on, like Spotify or something like that, or Google Play, let us know, and we'll work a way out to get the podcast on that. But yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment in the comments section, just because we love to hear from you guys. And make sure you're a subscriber, because I'll tease something now. We're probably going to be doing a pretty cool giveaway in a couple of weeks. Something Spider-Man related, possibly. So you'll definitely want to be up to date on that. And before we hop into the show, of course, we want you to follow us on Twitter. It's at comicblast_. And you can keep up with all the updates and discussions that we have going on over there.
Indeed.
Yes. All right, so we have a ton to talk about. This was a huge news week.
This has been one of the longest weeks. There's some news that I was like, oh yeah, we covered that last week, and we didn't.
Yeah.
There's been so much.
There's been too much. We're going over our show notes, and we were like, did we cover that last week?
Yeah.
But it was definitely this week. It's been a really long week for us. But we're excited about the news to come. Obviously, last week we hardly had any news, so we just had some fun with that episode. But we're going to hop into everything going on. The first thing that we really want to get to is probably the most talked about subject in the comic book realm of things, and that's the Captain Marvel positive reception going on social media right now. I think anybody who's listened to the previous podcast know that we've been kind of skeptical down on the movie, just mostly the marketing. And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling a little bit more relieved about
definitely
things.
I think I tweeted something this past week, and I said like the reception is definitely alleviating a lot of my worries I've had.
I'm pretty much at the same point, although I have been burned on positive reception for films in the past, but I feel pretty good about this one, obviously, because it's Marvel. I'm still
hesitant. I'm still like, I want to see my own opinion, but at this point, I'm like, if I don't love it, I'll at least enjoy it or like it. It may not be my favorite Marvel movie.
It's not going to be like the worst Marvel movie in years or something like that. And I feel like
even if I don't like the Captain Marvel solo movie, I'm gonna love her in Endgame, because we know she's gonna be in that. So it's like, it's a trivial thing for me, but I'm still looking forward to it.
You know what like when you said Endgame, it reminded me that at one point in time there was a cut of Infinity War that had Captain Marvel in it.
Was there?
Yeah, there was, and it was she was cut out. There was like a small part that she was supposed to be in. So they already shot stuff with her before, but yeah, that just came to mind for whatever reason.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, the thing that I love most about the positive reception, though, is that I haven't seen a ton of tweets about this, but I have seen some here and there, and that's that people are kind of saying that the marketing hasn't done the film any justice.
Yeah. I'll flat out say the marketing for this movie has just been absolutely terrible.
It's probably been some of the worst marketing for an MCU movie, and I don't even know how long.
I think probably, like, right now, I think Endgame has had the best marketing, because it's been so little. Marvel tends to go completely overboard, and I mean, they're doing it. they're doing it a little bit with Captain Marvel, but it's so far it's just like there's been not a whole lot of new stuff. I just feel like every trailer it's like she falls down and gets back up, and she's like.
You're like, did I see anything different from the last one?
Yeah, that's
how I've always felt.
There's barely anything, and also just the main thing is like, maybe it's just the way it's edited, but just Brie Larson just hadn't impressed me. But people said she's good in the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, hopefully it'll feel a bit more in character with her, and then she'll feel a bit more like Carol Danvers. I'm just like, I just saw her and I was like, this just doesn't seem a little natural at all.
Sure.
But yeah, people said she's decent. People say, or have also been saying though, that Ben Mendelsohn is stealing the show.
Of course,
and
he's amazing.
He's so good. I mean, Rogue One. He was amazing in Ready Player One. He was in the first movie I really ever saw him in. I think was The Place Beyond the Pines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he's the dirt bike guy or whatever, but he's like this redneck dude. He is just such a great actor. Like, I love that dude.
He plays a lot of really good villains lately.
He's always like, he's always kind of like a mixed bag, or at least a villain, but yeah, it's kind of been his thing. But it's so funny because like in real life, he's such a friendly and happy guy.
Right.
Which I think people who are like that always tend to be like the best villains.
Sure, yeah.
So,
the people you at least expect.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the positive reception so far. Like I said, I've been burned before on positive reception.
Yeah.
But it's Marvel, and I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt with this. What I'm excited about also is they said that this is really a cosmic movie. And we've seen a lot of Earth stuff, a lot of flashback stuff in the trailers that they've put out so far. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I hope there's some teases. Like, I mean, the Skrulls have been notoriously a Fantastic Four villain, at least like in the oldest comics. They were like Fantastic Four related. So I'm really excited for them as the villains and stuff. And I love the cosmic side of the Marvel universe. We've gotten traces and teases of it from the Guardians of the Galaxy. They usually keep it a bit more self-contained. It's not like we get to see like this whole cosmic side of things. I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had more so than the first movie did.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm excited to see the Kree and the Skrulls and all this stuff, and hopefully it'll set a firm foundation for.
I'm excited.
The Fantastic Four.
I'm excited about that, but I'm also excited to see how this, because I think what's gotten lost is how this movie is supposed to tie into, not Infinity War, Endgame. And what sort of things can we get from that? I've also heard that there's some cool cameos in the movie, like some unexpected surprises that are going to be in this movie. So
Peggy Carter, please.
Or, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Or I mean, maybe Hank Pym, because I don't know. Either way, I'm a sucker for like. That's my favorite thing. Is like I love the time before or in between the first Avenger and Iron Man 1, where it's like, it's kind of like they've slowly been trickling in the lore and what's been going on in that, and like so the flashback scene in Ant-Man, like seeing Hank Pym fight the Soviets in the Ant-Man suit, like that's super cool.
Yeah,
I just love that entire period. Obviously there was the Agent Carter TV show.
Did you watch that?
No, but I heard it was actually really good.
That's what I heard too.
So I need to watch it. Hopefully they'll put it on Disney Plus.
I like Peggy Carter, so
I love her, and I said right before the show.
Yeah.
He was showing me how they're coming out with the 4K for Captain America: The First Avenger, and I sighed and I was like, I miss Peggy.
Yeah.
Because man, I feel like it's as the older I get, the sadder it's going to get that when she dies in Civil War. And I mean, it's still like every time I watch Winter Soldier, when she like forget. Oh
yeah,
like,
that's like, some super emotional.
It's
scene.
Just so good.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else Captain Marvel related you're excited about? It comes out in 2 weeks.
Is it really?
2 weeks from yesterday. March? So.
Dang. Well, we got a plan to go see it then. I'll make sure to get my tickets. We got to go see it.
Yeah, we got to go do that.
But hopefully
the day of.
The day of or the night before, hopefully.
That's what I mean. Okay, I always think of like Thursday as the day of.
The day of, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I've always just kind of.
For sure. And then hopefully we can talk about our thoughts.
So whenever that comes, we'll probably just have a dedicated episode of just talking about Captain Marvel.
Yep.
I'm really excited to see what they do for the post-credit scenes.
I imagine it has to connect I imagine it has to tease some in-game stuff, but then again, maybe it might be more self-contained.
I've seen some things. I think Captain Marvel is going to be super powerful. Like, I don't know if she's going to be overpowered, but I've seen some things on Twitter like Thanos is screwed kind of thing going around.
Yeah, but then I'm like he was screwed. In my opinion, I was like he was screwed when Thor in Infinity War, if they manage to get a movie or something, or just a scene, oh my god, if there's a scene in Endgame where somehow Doctor Strange comes back at the end,
oh my god,
and they get Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Thor with Stormbreaker, I will decease in the theater. I will absolutely die, because those three are like literal like gods.
Yeah.
And I'm just, oh man. Yeah.
So is there anything in this movie that you feel like needs to happen, or something that you absolutely want to see in this movie? Or is there like something you want to be, like a question you want answered? Like for me, I want to know where she's been.
That's the main thing.
I'm like, where has she been? I saw a really cool tweet yesterday. It was yesterday, and it'd be somebody said it'd be really cool if Captain Marvel just disintegrates, but she's kind of still in the past.
Disintegrates as in snaps?
Just like she's affected by the snap, because there's something going on time wise that's really weird.
Yeah, because I mean we know that it takes place in the 90s. That's very clear. And Nick Fury at the end of Infinity War in the post-credit scene has a pager. That's not a coincidence. It's not like she's just still using a pager. Like it's clearly like a
she's
time
still
travel.
In the 90s.
Yeah, so it's like where I'm just
you're not gonna have a working pager anymore for that long, for what 20 years.
And also it was like
30 years.
It was like colored, right? And it had it was a little bit technological, so it was like a advanced
it was
pager.
A shield. It was like a shield pager. Something that they would have came up at that.
And
point
also,
time.
I hope they explain, at least in like I hope they explain it in a good way, why she also didn't show up for the Battle of New York or literally any of the events.
All the big events.
Just the big events, like where was she at in Infinity War and Age of Ultron. Like I want to know that. And so
those are some questions that we probably want answered.
Yeah.
Like where the heck, where she's been, that's pretty much the main thing.
Also, one thing I do want answered is, this is a subtle thing, but I hope it may be a little too fan servicey, but I'm curious if they'll show Nick Fury losing his eye.
Oh yeah,
because he's
that's probably gonna happen.
I imagine so.
Yeah, that has to happen.
I think it makes sense, because it's like the last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Yeah,
and I wonder if it's gonna be like a big twist where there's a character that's actually a Skrull the entire time, and he loses his eye. Could you imagine? Oh my god, that would be crazy.
No, it couldn't be Coulson, because they worked together in the Avenger movie.
No, but I'm saying like, what if it's like a situation like the Goblet of Fire, where it's like a Skrull replaces the real Coulson. And
I hear what you're saying. I don't understand the Potter reference, but
okay. So
I hear what you're saying. I understand.
So essentially, he would go out, like they would kidnap him, and
so it'd be a Skrull just disguising himself.
Yeah, disguised as the real Coulson, and then they free Coulson, and he's like,
that's probably going to be it. I can't think of.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably going to be something else, but. We'll see. It'll definitely be like a character that he's gonna trust or whatever. It may be Goose the cat. Could you imagine?
Oh my god!
If because people were saying they love Goose, and I have to imagine if people love Goose, they're not gonna be like, oh, I love him because he cut out Nick Fury's eye, one of the greatest characters in the MCU.
Right.
So we'll see. But
either way, I'm a lot more excited than I was like a week ago for this movie.
Yeah, it's coming in close.
Yes. All right. Other MCU news that we need to get to is that Kevin Feige confirmed that Black Widow is not rated R, and it never was going to be rated R, which is something that we discussed on probably our first podcast. I think.
No, it was. Well, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, maybe. It was the second episode, I think.
Sure. That sounds right.
But. I mean, I had a hard time seeing it being rated R. I was just like, it just seemed like such a weird thing to do. So, I'm not really.
I think we both
wanted
it to be rated R, because we were talking about the John Wick kind of style.
But, see, the thing is, though, I don't think it has to be rated R, because, I think the greatest example of the closest thing to having a Black Widow movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because she's so...
Yeah.
I think she's probably the most prominent in that movie than any other...
Like the Avengers movies
yeah,
and stuff.
she's like
useful.
She's like a supporting character,
Yeah.
and you see a lot of her.
Sure.
And the action scenes, especially the one on the boats, on the Marian Star.
Yeah.
She is like... She's awesome, and her
Yeah.
action scenes, and that movie's PG-13, so we don't need it to be rated R. I'm like, we can get great action scenes and stuff, and it still be PG-13.
That's why I had, like, at the beginning, I said that I had a problem with it potentially being rated R, just because kids have already seen this character as a PG-13 character, and they wouldn't get to see her finally getting a solo movie, and then it being rated R just wouldn't make a lot of sense.
A lot of young girls would want to go see it because there's Captain Marvel and then Black Widow.
You're gonna cash in big time too.
Yeah, I feel like to be honest, Black Widow is a bigger character than Captain Marvel already, just because she's been around for longer.
She's established.
Like, girls that like maybe get introduced with Captain Marvel will like Captain Marvel better.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of girls that are like, oh, I like Black Widow because she doesn't have superpowers. She's got guns, and she's super witty and smart, and she's just cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've had this character around for a long time already, so
yeah,
I can see that.
It being PG-13 doesn't surprise me, and I'm also like, it's weird. It's like a weird thing where I just kind of didn't believe this movie existed. Like, I just didn't really say anything about it, but I was like, does this movie, like, is it really confirmed? Because I feel like after Endgame, like this year, maybe hopefully in September, they need to do another thing what they did back in 2013 maybe, where they show, maybe it was 2014 actually, where they show a lineup of the movies.
That's what they said there. That's some news that actually broke this week, is that Kevin Feige said they're not going to announce any more MCU movies until after Far From Home.
Interesting.
So it probably
that makes sense.
Yeah. What did they have this year? They have the Disney. What's the Disney D23 is going to be this year.
Oh,
so they'll probably do a lineup.
If they do a lineup thing, that'd be great, because I think that was probably one of the coolest moments in the MCU.
Yeah.
That was when they announced Infinity War, and that was like, oh, that movie's like 6 years away, or like not 6 years away, but
that's
when
it was
5 years
Infinity
away.
War and 2.
And now they're gonna be like 2025 or what, and we're gonna be like, that's like so far away, and then like literally like we're gonna blink and we're gonna wake up and it's like, oh my god, like Avengers, or maybe it's like Fantastic Four.
I'm trying to think
X-Men.
of what. Okay, God, oh my God, they freaking need to announce Fantastic Four during that time.
I hope they announce Fantastic. I think if they did a Fantastic Four movie in, so it's 2019, maybe 2023, 2022, somewhere around there. I think that'd be reasonable. I think that'd be the good time. Maybe even 2021. I don't think they have to wait long, because it's way easier to introduce the Fantastic Four rather than the X-Men, and also I think it makes more sense logically in terms of production reasons.
Yeah.
How fresh the Fox universe and how established the Fox X-Men universe is, it would make more sense for them to be like, here's Fantastic Four. We're gonna delve into this a little bit, maybe do 1 or 2 movies before they do X-Men, because X-Men is still fresh in people's minds.
I think they're gonna take their time with X-Men.
Definitely.
It's gonna be one of those things that's just like a really slow process.
But when it happens, man, I'm gonna be very excited.
Yeah, me too.
I hope Venom dies off and they get Tom Hardy
for
Wolverine.
It's probably not gonna happen.
No, they're gonna make like
with
18
Venom making $1
Venom
billion.
movies.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think some of the other movies that are like kind of not really confirmed. There's no dates for it, but they're doing an Eternals movie. That's pretty much confirmed. And then we know Black Widow is going to be coming. Guardians 3 at some point.
That movie, like that Shang-Chi movie. It's like an
Asian
there's
that too. Yeah,
which seems like
I know nothing about the character.
I don't either. I would have preferred something like, well, Iron Fist isn't Asian, so
sure.
But I would have liked. I feel like, I mean, if they bring, well, we'll get into that news a little bit later, but I don't want to jump the gun, but if they manage to bring back the Netflix heroes, and they get Iron Fist, that'd be a cool thing. I feel like I think they're a little bit tied.
Oh yeah.
So if like actually start incorporating them into the movies, because those characters are not gone. Those characters are not dead. We'll get into that in the next news piece.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna jump into that right now because we're pretty much done with Black Widow.
Yeah.
Not being rated R. Bit of news broke that. It's not really news actually at all, but it's the Punisher and Jessica Jones series are canceled.
Yeah.
I loved the Punisher series.
Is so great. I still need to watch season 2. I'm going to at some point, and honestly, I'll probably go back and finish the rest of the shows. Except I probably won't watch Luke Cage. But yeah, no, I loved Punisher, and dude, Daredevil season 1 and 3. I mean, 2 is great as well because it sets up the Punisher so well. But man, Daredevil and Punisher, such great shows. How they made it so grounded and gritty.
I think they're a lot better than the rest of the shows.
Oh, they're leaps and bounds ahead. It's like Daredevil and Punisher. Well, you got, for people who are listening, my hand is above the microphone. Like Punisher and Daredevil are like top tier TV quality, and then Jessica Jones. Well, season 1 is pretty high up too. I thought Jessica Jones. Yeah. Okay. But then I didn't watch season 2, and I know Iron Fist season 1 people do not like. I thought it was okay, but it's nowhere near Punisher and Daredevil. Like all the other shows. And Defenders is just somewhere in the middle. But
I like Defenders.
Yeah,
there were some episodes I hated, but then for the most part, I did enjoy that. One.
But yeah, this news is we all saw it coming because we know that Daredevil got canceled and Iron Fist got canceled and Luke Cage got canceled.
If Daredevil gets canceled, nothing else is safe.
Yeah,
everything else is canceled.
Yeah, but I think it is safe to mention that I believe it was Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
I can pull up the quote real quick, but essentially, I'll paraphrase it. He said, he really teased that these characters aren't done, that not by a long shot, that like they're gonna find some way to bring them back. But let me see what Jeff.
I'm really curious as to what they'll do. You think they'll find another network or a partner to use? Because I think they pretty much have said that they're not going to do anything like rated R on their Disney Plus streaming service.
I don't think they'll do rated R stuff. I mean, I was listening to another podcast, and they were saying that it's possible that like it could be something where Disney Plus, the main like application of it is family friendly stuff, and there could be like a separate app that's still the same account. Like if you have Disney Plus, you have it, but it would prevent children from getting on there. So like you don't even have to download that app, but that app would have all of the darker stuff, the darker stuff, the rated R stuff.
Especially with them owning Fox now. I mean, they have rights to so many other properties.
They have a ton of stuff. So, I mean, it's just gonna be. It's still so weird to me though to think like I just have a hard time seeing Disney making rated R stuff. Like it's just not something that like if that happens, I'm just gonna have a really hard time getting used to.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while. That's why I think that they're either gonna do something like you said, or they're gonna find another network to partner with.
Because Netflix was like the thing is like a lot of their shows are very gritty and very dark and mature, and so that was like the prime platform for them. And so we know it was purely Netflix's decision to cancel it.
And they didn't have to cancel the shows. That's what's like really mind blowing to me. It makes me wonder if they're just like they did it out of spite.
I don't get their reasoning behind it.
They didn't have to.
Yeah, it was like.
I feel like they did it out of spite.
There has to be some deeper reason.
I don't think they want to work with Disney anymore because there was something that went on with Disney and Netflix. Disney originally was going to buy Netflix before they started their streaming service.
Yeah.
And they couldn't come to an agreement. So instead of buying Netflix, they went ahead and started their own streaming service, which a lot of people are really excited about.
Yeah. I think the state of these shows, but a lot of like this. Like Disney Plus would not exist if they had bought Netflix for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Mandalorian would have been on Netflix. Yep. All of the Star Wars movies, all the and honestly, I kind of wish that would have happened.
That's why, because I think we know for sure that Disney said like they have like obligations to put certain films on Netflix as of right now. But I think once later in 2019 happens,
when Disney Plus comes along,
everything's coming off of Netflix.
Yeah, Avengers is gone. I don't know if Doctor Strange is still on there. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. all of the Marvel stuff,
Star Wars stuff,
it's
the cartoons.
Clone Wars will not be on Netflix anymore. But
everything's going to be gone.
But the thing is like me and you, I know we'll get the Disney Plus streaming service.
Definitely.
There's too much incentive.
They're supposed to also undercut the prices of Netflix, and Netflix just upped their prices.
Yeah.
So
it's
I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of shade or something going on with Netflix not wanting to. Yeah, they're just kind of doing it out of spite because I don't feel like there's no reason to cancel those.
Definitely not
shows.
like
not
literally
Daredevil.
They canceled Daredevil like what? Not even a month after season 3 came out, and season 3 was like it got so much buzz. Granted,
everybody was talking. The views were a little bit down.
The views were lower, but people loved that. And season 3, like, oh my god,
it was amazing.
So freaking good.
If they wanted to end it, they kind of ended it in a way that would be fine ending it. Like there wasn't like a major cliffhanger. But there's just so much more left for that character and the characters around Daredevil to explore. Yeah.
So, on that note, let me read the quote or the letter that Jeff Loeb said. So he wrote this on Marvel's website, and it says, "It had never been done before. 4 separate television shows, each with different super talented showrunners, writers, directors, cast, and crew, coming out months apart, and then they would meet in a single event, a series, all set in the heart of New York City." He goes on to talk about like the Defenders and obviously the other shows. Each of them, there was 13 seasons and 161 1-hour episodes, which I did not think there was that much. That is a lot.
God, that's a lot.
They talk about the actors and all of the people who helped produce it. And then he says, "And we did it all for you, the fans, who cheered for us around the world and made all the hard work worth it. So thank you on behalf of everyone at Marvel Television. We couldn't be more proud or more grateful to our audience. Our network partner may have decided they no longer want to continue telling the tales of these great characters, but you know Marvel better than that. As Matthew Murdock's dad once said, the measure of a man is not how he gets knocked to the mat, but how he gets back up. To be continued." Jeff Loeb and all of us at Marvel Television. So they're not gone. Like they're clearly coming back. It's really just of where, like the terms of where it's coming back and how it's coming back. Like, are they going to continue keeping it in the same universe? Are they going to eventually connect them to the movies? Because it's like weird with these shows. Like they say that they're connected to the movies, and they clearly reference like
it's like Star Wars canon.
Yeah, yeah.
Like well, sometimes they kind of ignore it.
At least with like, remember like the Force Awakens novelization where it's like Rey and Poe meet. Yeah. And then like that. So
they just ignore it.
Yeah. So it's things like that. But people have said, like even the Russo brothers said, they wanted to use Daredevil, the characters.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they wanted to use some of them. They wanted to use some of the characters. I think they wanted to use Daredevil and Luke Cage is in the thing, but they decided not to.
I remember seeing something along the lines of like somebody kind of, I don't remember if I heard it on a podcast or somebody tweeted it out, but it would have been cool to see something like Jessica Jones in a bar or something like that, just like an Infinity War, like a quick clip of how like you kind of get like the civilian reaction, I guess, of like when the aliens were kind of coming down on Earth. Yeah. To just see like a cameo of like one of them, like Jessica Jones in a bar or something like that, and then you see on TV, you don't have to like have the character fighting or building a character arc in Infinity War or Endgame, but it would be cool to just see
something to acknowledge it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just not completely ignoring it. Yeah. Because right now, when Daredevil first launched, they referenced the
Battle of New York and Harlem from the Incredible Hulk. I believe those were the two main things.
Yeah, exactly. So you started getting hope that this would happen, and for a while we're just like, there's all this speculation for years that could Daredevil be in Spider-Man: Homecoming, or is he going to be in Infinity War or something like that? And from what I understand, there's been like some sort of rift between Kevin Feige and Jeff Loeb.
It's not. I don't think it was Jeff Loeb. I believe it was.
It's someone at Marvel TV. It was. Though, right?
Is it Ike Perlmutter? Is that his name?
Well, he was the CEO before Bob Iger, right?
You may be. No, that was a Disney thing. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. It was essentially.
I know he didn't like him.
It was Kevin Feige and then somebody else, and I just can't remember who it was. It definitely was not Jeff Loeb. It was It was somebody who was essentially running the shows.
It was somebody at Marvel TV.
Yes.
Jeff Loeb, though, he is essentially the Kevin Feige of the TV shows, right? From what I understand.
I don't think it's... I think it's all of television, so like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that. So
that's what I figured.
But it's the guy who specifically runs the Netflix side of things.
Oh, okay.
I know it's not Jeff Loeb. I've talked to it with
there's
before.
something between them that's...
Yeah, and it made it where they just did, like, they had some major beef, and they essentially didn't want to work together.
Yeah.
And so it made it really hard. Like they wanted to get the characters in there, but they just had so much, like, I guess, they just really just cannot
Come on, guys, get it together.
I'm like, do you know how much, like...
You're depriving us.
But at the very least, with these cancellations, I really hope, even if they do a clean slate, and they do, like, not redo the shows, but like find a way to do like a soft reboot. I still want the actors to come back, or at least at the very least, Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage, Charlie Cox, who played Matt Murdock.
They cast the whole thing perfectly.
Yeah,
I think.
And the main one that, like, if they do not bring him back, I will absolutely be furious, is John Bernthal as the Punisher. Like,
yeah, he's perfect.
What a perfect casting. I remember when they announced that he was going to be in season 2. I was like,
that's it.
Like because I never thought about it. Like, there was I was like, who could play the Punisher? And there was obviously, like, as fans, we naturally speculate about all these fan castings.
Yeah.
And I had never thought about him. And I remember I was I used to be a big fan of The Walking Dead, especially with season 2, which is my favorite season. And Shane is, like, my favorite character. John Bernthal plays Shane, for people who don't know. And when they announced that, I was like, oh my god, I have never thought of that, but that is the best thing I've ever heard.
He's also just an amazing actor.
Oh my god.
He's not in enough things, I think.
He's so good. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, all the stuff.
I saw him in The Accountant the other night. I was watching The Accountant.
Oh my god.
And I was like,
yes, he's so
why
good
is he
in
not
that?
in other movies? I'm like, he's so good.
I forgot he was in The Accountant. And oh my god, yes, that movie is great, and he's really good in that movie.
He was in Baby Driver. He's always in these small roles.
Yeah, because in Baby Driver, he's very small.
Yeah.
Like, not like a small person, but like, it's just a small role.
And then they killed him off in The Walking Dead. And is he back or something
apparently
like that?
he came back in like a flashback, I think, but it was
I don't know anything about that.
No, he's not back.
I watched up until like season 5 or 6.
Yeah, that was roughly where I don't know. I remember I watched until Negan came back, and then I just left. But,
But yeah, he needs to be cast in more things.
Yeah.
At the very least, keep the Punisher going. I loved season 2 so much.
Yeah.
I love that.
Listen to Eminem. Did you see Eminem's tweet?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, yeah, you go.
I was like, where did this come from? I'm not a huge Eminem fan, but I was like, that was cool.
So what happened is, if you don't know, back in...
Oh, he was in a comic book.
Yes, because what happened is he went to DC and he wanted to be in a Batman comic. But DC was like, no. So so Marvel came up and they were like, hey, we'll let you be in a Punisher comic.
That's probably the perfect thing for him to be in, too.
Oh, definitely. Punisher makes way more sense than Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him just being like a cameo or whatever, but no.
Yeah, I couldn't see Batman.
Like, hey, let me be Robin.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Wait, didn't he do something like that in a music video? I could be making that up.
I think so. See, I'm not a big Eminem fan. I like his music, but I'm not like, oh yeah, Eminem is so great.
Yeah.
But then he ended up doing...
I feel like I've seen him dressed up as Robin at some point in time. That's probably just like me.
I hope not.
I probably have really weird dreams that I think that are real. And that's just one of those, like, things.
In your sleep paralysis, you wake up and you see
Eminem
I do
as
have Robin in
the
corner.
my god, yeah. I do have, like, sleep paralysis once a month, so that might have been one of those things.
You're just like, no, Slim Shady, please.
I don't know. I was going to my phone to type in Eminem Robin, and I started typing sleep paralysis because we were talking
about really?
it. Yeah, you ever have that happen?
Yeah, no, that happens to me all the time. You'll just start typing, like, what you're thinking about and not actually what you really wanted to search, but...
Yeah, so he was in a music video. He dressed up as Robin.
Oh my god, he did!
Yeah, so...
wow.
That's what I knew that I had seen something like that. I had it pulled up now.
What was the video? Or what was the
song? Let's see if we can find it. Without Me.
Okay, I'm not.
I don't know. It's got Dr. Dre in it.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's definitely an old thing, but yeah, he dressed up as Robin, so I understand his reasoning for wanting to be in Batman.
Yeah, I know he was just a big Batman fan. But
that's funny. Oh my god.
I think he's a big comic book fan in general because in Rap God he makes like a ton of Marvel references. He references like Thor and Odin, and, like all these stuff, and like it's pretty cool. But
that is cool.
But yeah, thanks for defending the Punisher.
Everybody go watch that music video. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was so funny when you told me that DC was like, no. That's hilarious.
There was like a deeper reason, but they were just like, nah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I could just imagine the meetings going on with that. We're like,
he's like,
we really tried to fit you in on this one, but we just couldn't find room for you. That's so funny.
Yep.
Props to Marvel for putting him in Punisher, because that actually kind of makes sense to me. His music's very like aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the right word.
Yeah, there's like you can look it up. There's like a cover for it, but he's like it's like him.
I saw that. I saw it on Twitter. So when you were mentioning that, I was like, okay, now that makes sense for him to like jump to defend Punisher, because I was like, is he really watching these shows?
If they bring Punisher back, they should like get him in like a cameo. Just like a guy in the bar or something. Is just like
why didn't they do that to begin with?
That'd be great.
Dropping the ball was Netflix's fault. Anyways, other than that, this week was like a really wild week for rumors.
Especially with the one I assume you're about to jump into is the Batman.
Yeah, the Batman one.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent you this tweet, and I thought it was like legit because it was trending #1 on Twitter.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Yeah, and it was that Armie Hammer was in final talks to play Batman in Matt Reeves' trilogy.
Yeah.
Which ended up not being true.
Yeah, literally like the day later, they were like, no.
I don't even think it was that.
It was like
within an hour,
later.
somebody had like made calls and was like, not happening.
Yeah, and then Armie Hammer officially just came out and he was like, man, I wish someone contacted me.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure he said he was like, nobody. He was like, I wish somebody contacted me about Batman, but I haven't gotten.
Because he was gonna, from what I understand, he was casting a Batman movie with George Miller.
So George Miller was gonna do a
Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League Mortals, and they cast all these people as like Superman and Batman, and yeah, he was going to be Batman. But then that movie like fell through. I think it was going to come out in like 2007, 2008.
That was around the time that they were starting to do some, like that was when Green Lantern came out, around that time.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Green Lantern came out in 2010, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so he was originally going to be Batman, and then when I heard this news, I was like, that actually would be kind of cool, like just come full circle. See,
you were all for it.
I'm all for it because I'm someone like, when it comes to DC actors, I've probably mentioned it before, but I love when the actors have like the physicality of the characters, because Hollywood has really made a big emphasis on making sure these actors like are physically in shape to be superheroes. Like I remember I saw a video of like Brie Larson training for Captain Marvel, and it's like Gal Gadot, like she built like is it Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot? I don't want to feel like an idiot.
I think it's Dot.
Okay, well, her, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
idiots.
sorry, Miss Godot or Godot, if you're listening, which I highly doubt you are. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. She's just like, man, I love Comic Blast podcast.
I'll send her the link to not our iTunes page, but our YouTube page.
Maybe she can get in contact with iTunes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, so Armie Hammer, yeah, this dude is like, he's massive. He's like 6'3", and he's like super muscular and stuff. And I saw a Photoshop, and it was like someone put a cowl on Armie Hammer, and it literally looked 1-to-1 with Batman from Batman Arkham Asylum and City and Night.
Okay.
I was like, oh my god, make this man Batman.
Yeah.
And so, and then he came out and said
it's not happening.
But because it would have been great too, if anybody hasn't seen it, I know you haven't seen it, but The Man from U.N.C.L.E., it was a Guy Ritchie film that came out, I want to say 2015, but
that's
I could
one
be
with
wrong.
Henry Cavill in it, right?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
So Armie Hammer plays a Russian spy. It takes place in the 60s, or yes, the 60s. So during the Cold War, and Henry Cavill plays an American spy, and they kind of have like a rivalry, but they work together.
Sure.
They're working together to like stop these terrorists or whatever. But he's like they're both good guys, but they have this really funny banter. Like Henry Cavill is like super suave and like he's like a cool guy, and Armie Hammer's like cold and like brooding and stuff. And I'm like, it's more or less just
that
Batman
should be
and
our
Superman.
Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
but
and I'm
it's
like, because Armie Hammer's, he's a little bit taller than Superman, but like I'm fine with that. Like if you put him in a Batman suit, nobody
he's definitely
can care.
built.
Oh yeah.
I watched The Social Network, Have you seen that movie?
Mm-hmm.
I watched it the other day, and it has Armie Hammer in it.
It's so weird that he plays twins.
Like, yeah. His voice is so deep. Is it really that deep?
Yeah, his voice
when he was talking. Oh, and that it is, because I remember I saw him in Nocturnal Animals as well.
I need to watch that movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal in that one?
Do I what?
Is Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal's in that one. Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, phenomenal movie. Armie Hammer's in that, and I remember I was like, this dude's voice is so deep.
Yeah.
But
he would have been a great Batman, but not the case. So we thought we would just glance over that because I remember when it came out, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be an awesome topic. Like, he could be playing Batman." And then, like, an hour later, I was like, "Never mind."
Yeah, you were really excited about it. I'm kind of just like, I don't really know. One report that came out was that, the person who, I can't remember his name, Humberto Gonzalez. Do you know that? It's from the rap?
Yes.
I may be wrong, but I remember him posting something, or somebody else was posting something and made a call about the thing, saying that it's not true, and they actually wanted somebody younger than Armie Hammer.
He's 32 years old.
Yeah, and
I'm like, that's like the perfect age for a young Batman.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't see getting someone any younger than 28, and I'm like, you want someone younger? Like,
so did you see that as well?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if that was him that tweeted it out, but somebody definitely tweeted out that they wanted somebody younger than that, which surprises me. But I know they want to do the whole year one storyline.
I think
that's what I've heard, but
the thing is,
there's so many rumors out there. I don't know what to believe.
It's at this point, like, I don't know. Like, I'm almost certain that Jake Gyllenhaal was in talks at one point, but Jake Gyllenhaal is older than Armie Hammer, so I'm like,
yeah. I still want Jake Gyllenhaal to be Batman.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of over it. Like, I think
I am too, because of Mysterio.
Yeah, like, if it would have happened, I would have been cool with it.
What would you rather have, though? Would you have Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman, or him being in the MCU as Mysterio? Like, if you had to choose.
It's hard to say because it really depends on who they end up casting as Batman. Like, because what if there's, like, he could have been better, you know? But honestly, if they keep him alive in the MCU, then I think I'd rather have him as
I think
Mysterio.
The MCU deserves him more.
Yeah, because eventually it's going to get to the point where the MCU, like, literally every actor on the planet...
It's A-list.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, we already have a ton of A-list actors. Like, we've got Samuel L. Jackson, and we've got Anthony Hopkins was Odin. Like, there's literally just so many A-list actors. Keaton. And I'm like, Michael Keaton is probably, like, one of the biggest ones. Yeah. And I'm like... Dude, get Ryan Gosling in Spider-Man 3.
Oh my god. Don't even say that. That makes me excited if that happened.
I want Ryan Gosling in something.
You remember when he was in talks to play the Joker before Jared Leto?
No. Oh, yes, I do remember that.
And he said he didn't want to do a multi-picture deal, which he didn't know, but Jared Leto only had one movie. But
he's not.
I'm glad he wasn't cast in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
As a joke. Oh my god. But it would have been really cool. I think he would have nailed that.
Oh, I mean, Ryan Gosling. I think, honestly, he could be my favorite actor because, like, there's so many movies I love him in. Like,
he has more range than, like, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be my favorite forever, but I think he has more range.
They're like, Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Gosling are, like, there.
Yeah. Whenever they're casting something, it doesn't matter what it is, I immediately want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I keep on forgetting to do this because you've told me so many times. I still need to watch The Nice Guys.
Oh my god, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I did the Cloverfield movies because you told me, but I need to watch The Nice Guys. That's like the number one movie that you.
If you had mentioned it, I would have brought it over for you to borrow. That's one of my favorite movies.
Wasn't it? Who did Shane Black? Right.
Shane Black did that.
Okay.
And it's totally a Shane Black film. Like, when you watch it, you totally get the vibes of Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
You know, all of his films, they kind of have like a similar vibe.
Yeah.
But
is Ryan Gosling, like, really funny in it?
He's
are
hilarious.
They both funny? Yeah.
They're both funny, but Ryan Gosling, I've never laughed so hard. That's probably the most I've laughed during a movie.
Really?
Ever. Like, that. Ever. Like, to the point where I'm just like, and I rewatch it. Like, I feel like I watch it almost every month. And, like, even when I rewatch it, I'm just, like, dying. Just, like, crying. There's so many funny things and moments.
I need to, like, either borrow it from you or I need to just go.
I'm so sad that you haven't watched that yet. And you said your dad watched it, right? Or he told me that he's seen it. Or something like that.
So maybe, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Man, you're missing out on a great movie. It's hilarious.
But
that's when I was like, man, this dude has some range, because that was the same year that La La Land came out, and I was like,
that's right. Yeah.
I'm like, he did a musical, he did a great comedy, which is super underrated and didn't make any money at the box office.
Yeah.
I'm guilty because I didn't go see it, but I got it on Blu-ray when it came out, and then he's done all these. He's done Drive and Only God Forgives, like crazy.
See,
movies.
the thing is, like, it's weird. I'm like. It's weird to hear you say that, like, you laughed so hard. I've seen him in funny interviews and stuff. Like, I think there was one with Harrison Ford or something. But, like, I'm used to seeing him in very stoic roles. Yeah. Especially, like, with, like I mentioned earlier, The Place Beyond the Pines.
He's acting really without talking. Like, you're kind of watching him, and you kind of get his emotion from him.
He does that in Drive and in Blade Runner. And that's what I'm used to seeing him as. So, like, I want to see him in more stuff. But yeah, if they keep on getting... We'll go back to the... We're kind of we're, like, way sidetracking.
We're like... Ryan Gosling right now.
But, like, if they get more A-list actors, like, it's just going to happen. So...
Ryan Gosling for Batman. No, that wouldn't fit at all. But Ryan Gosling should be in something superhero related.
I can see it. I don't know. His
Batman.
His jaw isn't square enough. It's too pointy.
No, it wouldn't work for.
I've seen people mention him though, like back in the day before Ezra Miller got cast as Barry Allen.
I think if he was a little bit younger, that could work. It depends on what's. I mean, they were trying to go for a younger Barry Allen.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like if they wanted to go with an older actor, like he would have been. He would have been really good.
I don't think he's gonna end up doing anything superhero related, unless it's for like one like a
villain.
Yeah, like what they're doing with the Joker right now. Like
I'd hate to see him be wasted on
one movie or something like that. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But I just don't see him. He's the type of person that doesn't sign like multi-picture deals. He likes to pick his movies. You know, one by one and find a great movie.
I hope he plays a villain, but not like a super evil villain, like a villain that you kind of like. I don't know,
like a Killmonger type villain, where like even though I didn't sympathize with him, but like just that kind of
someone who's got charisma, and you're like, because I mean I'm someone like I don't really hate the Vulture, like, and same thing is like I don't get the feeling.
I don't hate the Vulture.
I don't think I'm gonna hate Mysterio either. Like I feel like I'm gonna be like interesting. Like he wants to get his credit because from what we assume, that he's going to be like staging these attacks and stuff, but wants to be the hero.
Definitely.
It just depends if he hurts people or not. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, Batman.
Yeah. I love how just like a lot of stuff.
The thing is, okay, so we discussed Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm still for Ben Barnes if he bulks up. I still think if he bulks up, he's got the slick hair, he's kind of got the look and the suave and stuff. I think he'd make a really cool.
I can't like. If he does it, I'm down, but I'm just so used to him being such a douchebag in The Punisher that
you got to see season 2. It makes it worse.
Yeah,
it makes it worse case for Batman because he's like super whiny and he's like.
Yeah, I by the end of Punisher season 1, I just hated his character so much. Like,
did you really?
Like, I didn't hate his character. Like, I just hated him. Like, he was a good villain.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Frank, you better beat the living crap out of him. Sorry.
See, that's the thing I wanted to show you, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And that's I'm showing Grayson a picture of like a Boss Logic edit. Ben Barnes as Batman.
Speaking of Boss Logic, did you see the thing that Jake Gyllenhaal went on?
So cool.
He was like Nikolai Boss Logic.
Boss Logic.
Oh my god,
that was really cool.
That was he got so much exposure after that. Like
I like that he actually just like gave him credit. He was like, make sure you check him out. He's like, he's really good. Give him credit.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal, like his presence on Twitter now, or not Twitter, Instagram. Yeah,
he didn't have one before.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it was probably Marvel was like, hey, and his agent.
This movie.
I was like, come on, but dude, all of his Instagram stuff is just
funny. It's
so funny. Like,
the stuff he has with Tom Holland.
The Tom Holland video where he zooms in and it's like it's got the hearts and stuff, and Tom Holland looks up and I'm like, oh
I love the one when I think Tom Holland actually shot it, but when Jake Gyllenhaal was in the hotel bathroom and he's like pss, 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 like shooting webs at the
they're so thing. Funny. Like I saw a thing and it was like it was like divided in two, and the top thing was Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's like, oh, I love Tom Holland, he's the best, and then the bottom was Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. They're like, Tom Holland's an asshole. And I'm just like, oh, you gotta love it.
It's so
it's like
funny.
It's so great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to their press tour together.
Oh, it's gonna be
so
great.
funny. They're gonna be doing stupid stuff
because the first movie had like RDJ and Tom Holland just having such great moments, and now it's gonna be Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland, and I'm just like, let's go.
It's gonna be awesome.
Because I love both of them so much.
I'm so excited for that movie now.
Yeah,
it's getting close. We're really about to hit like all the comic book movies. We're gonna get Captain Marvel. We're gonna get Shazam.
I'm really excited for Shazam.
Me too.
They've been coming out with more stuff, and I'm like, I love Zachary Levi, and I'm just like,
that's
so
the end
ready
of
for Shazam.
March, right? End of March is Shazam.
April. It's early April. April 7th.
Early April.
Okay,
like and then we're gonna get Endgame.
Oh my god, it's so close.
It's all coming up. Yeah,
literally like
we're gonna have a lot to talk about, for podcast material in the future.
Can't not wait.
Cool. So that Batman stuff happened, and then the last bit of news we're gonna get to today, before we get to something that Grayson wants to do, which I have no idea what is prepared, but I'm excited to see what he has.
I'm excited.
Is that there is reportedly an Obi-Wan Kenobi series in the works for Disney Plus's streaming service. That was reported by StarWarsNews.net, which they're pretty reliable when it comes to Star Wars news.
Yeah, you've told me that they're pretty reliable, and people that we watch at Collider, and like I know people at Collider as well. So they're, if they think it's true, then I have a better reason to believe that it is true.
Gotcha.
So
I think it's true.
Yeah.
You haven't told me your thoughts on this yet, so I'm just excited to see what you have to think about.
So I'm someone like, I absolutely adore Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And when they like announced the movie, but they didn't really announce a movie, and then it like was like it's not happening, and it kind of got put on hold, especially after Solo kind of bombing. It was, or not bombing, but just not doing as well as they thought, and not getting.
I think it lost money.
Yeah, I don't think it did particularly well for Disney.
You know what's crazy? This is gonna be a little bit off topic, but when The Force Awakens came out, like toys went like that, and then like now I can go into like Target or Best Buy, and I still see a ton of Solo stuff, a ton of Last Jedi stuff, just like on the shelves. Yeah, tons of stuff. Anyways, but that was off topic. But go ahead.
So it's interesting. A YouTuber that I watch by the name of Star Wars Explained. He's a great YouTuber. If you guys are a Star Wars fan, 100% go subscribe to him and check him out. I've been watching him for years. But he talked a while back about someone saying, like, could they make Obi-Wan a show on Disney Plus, on the streaming service? And now this news is out, or at least this rumor or whatever, this report. And so it's like, what he said was, I have a hard time believing that they could stretch it out into multiple episodes. Because, like, I mean, it's hard enough to... He's not doing much on Tatooine. Granted, there was a Legends book called Kenobi where it shows him kind of dealing with, like, the crime stuff. Yeah. That's kind of what I hope will happen. And if that's the case, then they can probably stretch it out into an 8 to 10 episode thing. Yeah. I don't think it'd be any more than one season. That's for sure. I hope not. I think it'd be a limited run.
Yeah, I hope that they don't do more than one season. But I have a feeling if it's super successful, I don't know. Maybe I
don't think they would milk it. I could see maybe 2 seasons, but like I know it is 19 years, but like I don't want it to be this point where I'm like, Obi-Wan is going on all these little adventures, and
do you think it's possible they do like a live action version of his duel with his final fight with Darth Maul? That's a little bit later. I think that's when he's older. So
well, that's that's when he's really old. Yeah, but I mean, like if they made it into a long series, they could. Personally, though, I just think it makes more sense for them to do a movie, and I think a lot of people would go see that movie.
I agree. I feel like honestly feel like Disney doesn't know what to do for movies now. Like after The Last Jedi was a success in the box office for sure. Even though I don't think it got to where they wanted or expected it to go for dollar amount. And then the Solo thing happened. And there's multiple reasons for why that movie didn't do well. I don't think it was a bunch of people boycotting.
I don't think it was because the boycott of like The Last Jedi and stuff. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it was because of that. I think the main reason it did not do well is, first of all, it came out in a weird time. People were used to it, like a Star Wars movie coming out every December.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, there's like what is this Solo movie? And also, it was just, one Star Wars movie a year is too much. Me and you are very big Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I think that a Star Wars movie once per year is just way too much. And especially Solo was literally only, 5 months after The Last Jedi? That is way too close.
Before that happened, they were like, there was rumors that they were going to try to do 2 a year. That's before that happened.
Too much, man.
Way too much. And I don't know, but at the same time, I see the comparisons with the MCU, where it's just like, they're able to do 3 movies and it's successful.
I just feel like the MCU is different because they don't have like a strict schedule. It's like they just have a lot of movies and people are like, what's the next Marvel movie? But with Star Wars, it's this, Star Wars is like this rare thing, like this like fine wine where people treasure it and hold it up on this pedestal. And it's like, you don't want to get oversaturated on Star Wars, otherwise it kind of loses its meaning. Like, I remember just the special feeling of watching The Force Awakens in theater, and like it's one of the greatest moments I've ever had in a theater. And it was like it had been 10 years since I had seen a Star Wars movie in theater, well, not including the Clone Wars, but and so it was like I was so excited, and it was just insane, like the amount of like hype and the fans that were in that room. And then The Last Jedi Rogue One, it kind of, like, I was really excited for Rogue One because I'm like, this is the first, like, anthology film. Like, so I was excited for that. But then when The Last Jedi came along, I was excited, but it was nowhere near the feeling of The Force Awakens.
Really?
Like, definitely not.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's like The Force Awakens was like my theater. Literally, there was not an empty seat.
Yeah.
Like, there was police there.
Oh, I
and
agree.
Everything. But Last Jedi, like, there was empty seats.
I guess I just have a different experience because, like, I was excited for all of those movies. Mm-hmm. Force Awakens excited, and I think The Last Jedi was the most excited I've been for a movie ever.
Really?
Just because, like, I loved what they had done with The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I was like, because, like, with The Force Awakens, I was, like, really excited because it's Star Wars, of course, and it's back. But then you kind of have questions. You're like, this is Disney, you know, what are they going to do with these characters and stuff? So you're kind of like, it's tough. It's like with the MCU right now. I'm excited for every MCU movie now because it's proven that they're good. Like, every time it's good. And with the Disney Star Wars, I didn't really know what was to come, so I wasn't as excited as I was for The Last Jedi when The Force Awakens was coming out. I just had the same excitement, but The Last Jedi was probably the most excited I had been for a film ever. Yeah. Like, I can't think of another film that I was so excited for. Maybe Batman vs. Superman. I was really excited for that one too. And it's so tough because, like, everybody has a different experience. Because I would have been just as excited for Solo had I really liked The Last Jedi. Yeah. I literally was like, I wouldn't say I was definitely not depressed after The Last Jedi, but, like, I really was down on movies. Like, even going into Infinity War that year, I kind of was, like, more reserved and less hyped because I was like, I do not want to get disappointed for a movie like that again because that was the most disappointed I had been. Again, my experience. And it got to the point where when Solo came out, I didn't even see it opening weekend. So somebody like me who maybe felt like me affected those opening weekend numbers.
Definitely.
And that's what I think about. So I think there's, like, a lot of different things going on. There's the people like me. There's the people who had Deadpool and Infinity War in the same month. You know, in May, it's just kind of like, wasn't it in between Deadpool? Or maybe it came after Deadpool,
What,
too.
Solo?
Yeah, it came after Deadpool, too, right?
It was... like this, it was
like 3 weeks from Infinity War.
It was Solo and Deadpool 2, but like that was like that 1 month period of like the middle of April until like the end of April till the end of May was like Deadpool 2, Solo, and Infinity War.
Yeah, and then there was also like then there was the whole thing with a lot of people didn't really. As soon as the movie was announced, people were like, "Why do we need a Han Solo movie?" You know, there's a lot of people that were like that. There's a ton of people who don't like the older crowd, who don't like recast and stuff like that. Yeah. So I feel like there's just a ton of factors that led to that movie being a disappointment. The marketing was botched big time, mostly because the production was botched big time.
Yeah, the main thing with the Chris Lord and Phil Miller
really put the
it's
Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I was about to say, I was like, I got that wrong.
So that's just the way I see it. because I'm a big Star Wars fan, I know for a fact if I loved The Last Jedi, I would have been just excited for Solo, but I wasn't, and I didn't see it that opening weekend, which is a big weekend for movie studios. How that movie performs opening weekend is huge.
I think another thing, it may not be as big of a difference, but like the reason coming back to why I don't want as many movies, the Star Wars movies, is I consume a lot more Star Wars content over the entire span of a year, because they have TV shows and they have they've got the movies, obviously, they've got the TV shows, they've got the comics, they've got the books, plus I watch like a ton of Star Wars videos all the time, and I'm very involved in that community, whereas Marvel, they have the TV shows, but they don't have the TV shows anymore. And really, the only thing with the MCU is just the movies. There's not tie-in. There's not really like canon tie-in comics and like all this stuff.
And they're very like the storytelling with the MCU is very linear. So it's almost like you have to like, in order to like be rewarded for that big movie like Infinity War or Endgame, you have to kind of keep up with all of these other stories in between. Whereas Star Wars, you kind of know what things are gonna, like Rogue One. You kind of know what's gonna happen.
Oh, you didn't even have to watch Force Awakens, or like the only thing you had to watch for Rogue One was at the least A New Hope, and that's probably you didn't really have to watch anything other than that. Like they make it pretty self-explanatory. It's in between 3 and 4.
So I see what you're saying with the difference between the films.
And
with that.
Yeah. So, and it's just like the MCU movies are like, it's like a book where it's like each movie is a new chapter, whereas say like you said, it's more linear. But Star Wars is kind of more like it's like an open.
It's kind of everywhere. Yeah,
it's like you've got the people who like they really love the comics, and I mean all of the Star Wars fans pretty much watch the movies. Yeah, that's a given. Like you watch the movies, but not everyone reads all the books. I don't read all the books, but I've read a few of them. And I read some of the issues of the comics, or like specific comics that I like.
Yeah.
And so it's not like this one like diverging path. Like it's a broad thing. Like you've got your Clone Wars fans and your prequel fans and your sequel fans, all that stuff. And so it's a bit more like you can pick and choose what you like. But so I don't know if that necessarily affected the thing of Solo, but that essentially affects like why I think I'd want a Star Wars movie every 3 years, because then it'd be like, oh man, like it's been so long since a Star Wars movie, like I'm so ready to go. Whereas the Solo, I was excited for it because I'm naturally excited for things, but I wasn't like, yeah, Solo, let's go. Like I was like,
I like that's why I liked the we're getting the episode 9 is going to be the last of this saga.
Yeah.
But that's why I liked the saga films being, every other year, and then having that other one that was just a little bit different, where it's just like because like in between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, those 2 years were like the longest years of my life, because I was like, when is this movie gonna come, and I was just I had a lot of anticipation. But that's why I feel like Disney is a little bit reactionary now, and that's why they, at one point in time, I feel like they were gonna do this film, and I feel like they're kind of taking a step back. I don't want them to get like the DCU because I feel like they've been super reactionary to criticism.
Yeah.
And I feel like Disney's kind of trending that way with Star Wars, because now this should have been a film. I think this should have been one film about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I feel like because we haven't seen that character in so long, that would be one of those Star Wars films that almost has like magic to it.
Oh, definitely, especially because if they made it like a little bit after episode 9, it'd be like, oh man,
this era ended.
It's like it's the return of Ewan McGregor from the prequels. Like, I mean, you imagine it could be like 2021. It'd be like 16 years.
That's why I feel like this should be a movie. Like this.
Oh, definitely.
You would kind of get that buzz that you had for The Force Awakens,
and it would just get more exposure. Like more people saw Episode 3 in theaters, whereas like not everyone's gonna have Disney Plus. But at the same time, it'd get a lot of sales for Disney Plus, because if someone may not be interested in The Mandalorian, we are, but not general audiences. But more general audiences might be interested in Obi-Wan, because literally he's been a character since the very first Star Wars movie.
I'm really concerned, and this is probably just me, but I'm really concerned about the Disney streaming service, because when I hear something get announced, I'm really excited. But then I think about everything else that's been announced, and I'm like, there is so much freaking content to try to consume.
Yeah.
Like with not like this week there was a crazy week for rumors, but there's rumors that they're considering a Rose Tico show.
There's already 2 shows that we know of that exist, that they are confirmed
and a third one is reportedly in production,
which now, we don't know about. Yeah.
Which might be the Obi-Wan Kenobi film. That's it. So we have this whole thing where like we're also MCU fans. Yeah. There's going to be a
Loki
Scarlet Witch.
And Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch and the Vision, and then there's going to be a Bucky and Falcon.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Series, and then there's going to be the Loki one, and then now we have all these rumors of other series going on with Star Wars, and we're saying that 2 Star Wars movies in a year is too much, but now we have all this other content that we're going to have to try to consume as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, being that the 2 is probably too much for you specifically, do you feel like the series will kind of do the same thing or have the same effect that a film would have on you?
The Obi-Wan series?
Just all of these series. Like the amount of Star Wars that you're getting, because you're not going to get it so much in films anymore, which I guess if going to a film is a different experience than being at home and just watching content.
I think they're really the only cases just for Obi-Wan. I think the other ones, like a Cassian Andor series, just kind of like makes sense. A Mandalorian series makes sense. I'm fine with those.
But you don't feel like it's too much. Like you're gonna get Clone Wars again, too. And then you're gonna get the Cassian series, and you also have the Mandalorian.
Oh no, and if you say like that, I'm already at a point where I think there's a lot too much Star Wars.
And that's my thing. Is like, and that's the same. I feel the same way about the MCU stuff too.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is a lot of stuff that I have to, and I don't want it to get to the point where I'm like, do I have to watch this to figure out what's going to happen in this film?
Well, that's the thing. Is that's probably why they didn't connect the Netflix shows. Honestly, is because it would have been like, like Daredevil shows up and they're like, what? So, to be honest, I'm probably not going to watch the Loki series, or unless it gets really like I may watch the Loki series, but I'm definitely there's like almost 100% chance I'm not going to watch Scarlet Witch and Vision unless I just get really bored. Now, I'm definitely going to watch The Mandalorian. There's a pretty good chance I'll watch Cassian Andor. I'm not going to watch it like the day it comes out, but I'll slow burn it.
Yeah.
And oh my god, of course I'm going to watch Clone Wars. Like it's like one of my favorite childhood things ever. So. And I need to like retract my statement. It's not that there's like there is a lot of Star Wars, but I am not personally oversaturated by Star Wars.
Oh, you're just talking about the box office. Why it could have been. Yeah.
Because I pick and choose what I want with Star Wars. I don't read. I'm not someone like Star Wars Explained, who I mentioned earlier, who literally consumes every piece of Star Wars content. Granted, he doesn't get burnt out because it's his job.
Sure.
And I feel like I wouldn't be as either. But there's like I don't care about reading. Like, maybe one day I will, but I don't really... Like, they came out with a new Padme book.
Yeah.
I don't really care about reading that, but see, like, I read the Ahsoka book because I love Ahsoka.
Sure.
They're coming out with a new Master and Apprentice, which is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Eventually, I'm going to read that book because I care about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, but I don't read every comic series. It's like, I don't read... They're doing, like, there's, like, a small, like... They had a Poe Dameron series. I didn't read that. Like, I don't read or... do everything. Now, pretty much the main thing with Star Wars is I read certain comic issues or series. Like I read the Keenan series, for example, and I read certain books that I care about. But like I'm not someone who does everything. And so it's been a while. Like the last main thing of Star Wars media I consumed was like it was just a one-off issue, and it was like they're doing this series with like the Age of Republic, and it's like it covers like Jango Fett and Count Dooku and Mace Windu and all this stuff. So like I read like one issue of that, but I'm not someone who like
does everything.
Yeah, I'm too busy to be able to do that, especially because like I play a lot of video games, and it's kind of a career I want to go into.
Yeah.
So now I will be playing like Jedi Fallen Order or something like that. But anyways, Disney Plus, I think people need to understand that it's okay to not consume everything.
Every single thing.
That's why I didn't. After a while, I felt bad for a long time for not watching Jessica Jones season 2 or like Luke Cage season 2. Same thing with that's the reason why I watched like all of the CW DC shows, because I was like, I don't want to be a fake fan, you know. And I'm like, it's okay if you don't want to watch The Flash.
Into it,
I'm like, if you do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're not into it, then don't watch it. Like, I remember I watched the first 2 episodes of Iron Fist Season 2, and I just got busy with other things, and I wasn't really enjoying it. Daredevil Season 3, on the other hand, I was hooked. It had been so long. I was ready to watch Daredevil. Yeah. That was the thing that I was like, I've seen the first 2 seasons. I'm invested in this, and I care about it.
Sure.
And I enjoyed it. So, that's
it's
my...
gonna be... Yeah, I think it's just like it's a case-by-case basis kind of thing. It's just like it depends on...
If it gives you joy to and like makes you happy to consume everything, by all means do so. But personally, for me, like, I'm not someone who... Like, I'm going to watch all the MCU movies, but when these other shows come out, I'll probably watch the one I will watch is the Bucky and Falcon thing. Yeah, because I love those 2 characters. But Loki and Scarlet Witch, I'm like, I don't really care. So
I hear what you're saying. I have, like, a little bit of just concerns with the whole thing. I think they're going in...
A little too strong.
Yeah, I feel like they're getting ahead of themselves with this streaming service because they want to be the top stream.
I think when they release it, they should have like 1 to 2 things per of their big franchises. But the main hook of it needs to be you have every single Disney animated movie and every Marvel movie and every Star Wars movie, like, because Disney owns so much.
They're also reportedly going to be like putting these things on their streaming. Like, let's say like Endgame comes out. It's going to be on their streaming service a lot sooner than it would be on Blu-ray.
Interesting.
That's what's been reported. So I don't know. It's such a unique thing that they're doing. You know, it's not like Netflix. This is all stuff that they own. They're not buying rights to movies to put on their platform. This is everything that they own. They have complete control over, and they're doing exclusive content for. So yeah, the main point was we're getting to the Obi-Wan stuff. And overall, I'm excited, of course, if they have Ewan McGregor. I don't think that they recast him in any way.
There would be no way. He's literally stated so many times he'd be willing to come back.
Exactly. But I find it interesting that they chose to do a series. And I feel like they're being a little reactionary about Solo and anthology films.
Yeah. I think it was a while back they said they were kind of indefinitely put on like a pause.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Don't do that. I'm like, it's one movie that flopped when it had so many other issues. I'm like, and you just re-upped your executive producer and president of Lucasfilm for they did a contract extension with her. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you've chosen to have faith in this woman to make these movies happen.
Yeah,
let's do it. Like. You have to just kind of
see. I love the idea. I love honestly, I will say it. I love the anthology films more than the sequel films not because they're like tied to the previous like eras and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's because we get to see characters that we just don't really hear about, and it's just so cool. Like Rogue One is such a great film because it's like we get to see like this small team, like what happened to the Death Star plans, and like I'd love to see a film about like a bounty hunter, which I guess we're kind of getting a Mandalorian.
We're going to be getting all that. Like, once this trilogy or the saga is over, we're going to get a lot of cool stuff like that, I think.
I'm so excited.
I feel like, why not an Obi-Wan film?
It just makes sense.
Out of everything else that they're probably going to end up making for a film, I know they got this new trilogy that they're working on, and supposedly Rian Johnson will be doing his trilogy as well.
Yeah.
But this makes the most sense because it's the one thing that people have been asking for years.
Yeah.
People weren't like begging for a Han Solo movie.
All of the fans want it, and I know the general audience is going to be like, yeah. I think they should have done Obi-Wan instead of Solo, and then they should have waited on Solo a little bit. I
don't think Solo should have happened. I would have rather had a Solo series than a movie.
There's rumors that they're doing a Lando series.
Yeah, I did see that. Too many rumors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rose Tico is getting her own show. The Porgs are getting their own show.
Oh my god. It's freaking Elon Schlesbagano from Attack of the Clones who tries to sell Obi-Wan death sticks is getting his own show.
Everybody's getting their own show. It's getting too much. Getting to be too much.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that pretty much does it for this week's news for this podcast. Grayson actually has something that he wanted to do at the end of the show that I'm not really prepared for, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in store.
Yeah. So last week we talked about like The Office and casting actors from this. This is just more of a discussion, really. So, and I wanted to talk to you about it because honestly, I think you're gonna love this. So
I'm excited.
So about 2 days ago, I saw something on Marvel's YouTube channel, and I was confused by it. I was like, what is this? So what it is it's a sequel to something they did at the end of last year. What they did last year was they released a podcast, okay? And essentially what this podcast was is it's not like a podcast of like me and you talking, but it is like a story podcast. So you listen, and it's almost like a Netflix show where they come out with episodes.
Okay.
So they did 12 30-minute episodes of Wolverine: The Long Night. And so I have listened to the first 4 episodes so far.
Okay.
And it is amazing.
I haven't heard of this.
Is
it Wolverine talking?
Let me kind of
get
kind
of like what they did with the Halo 5 Guardians marketing.
Kind of.
I think didn't they put out like podcasts or
something like that? Yeah. So essentially, the way it is they got all of these voice actors to come in, and they're not like reading from a script, but it's like. Essentially, think like you're watching a Netflix show, but you're just hearing it. And so,
gotcha.
So like, essentially, it's about Wolverine, but so far Wolverine isn't the main character. So the main characters are these 2 agents, and what happens is they get brought in. All of it takes place in Alaska, and it's a really cool setting.
Cool.
And they get brought in because some fishermen find a boat where the entire crew has been killed. And some of their throats have been clawed out and things like that, and nobody knows what's happened to them. There's also a cult that's in like Alaska, in like this town. It's called Burns, Alaska, and people have been seeing like Logan and stuff like that, and they're trying to figure out these agents are trying to figure out who did this murder. So they think it's Wolverine, they think it's Logan because they talk to people and all this stuff, and like. They're kind of getting hints that he actually has like claws and he's like this feral man and stuff. But it is so intense and so gripping, and like the storytelling is so. It's just so unique. It's one of the most unique things I've ever heard.
So it's almost like an audio comic book.
Yes, essentially, that's exactly what it is.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah, it's like an audio book, but there's no narrator or anything like that. Like the entire thing is just characters talking to each other.
Gotcha.
Sometimes it's like radio broadcasts. Sometimes it's like they put like mics on people so they hear people talking through that. But like they also have there's like sound, so you'll hear gunshots.
Gotcha.
You'll hear like footsteps and branches cracking and like the nature and trees and stuff.
And all that stuff.
Yes, and it's also it has its own score. It has its own soundtrack and stuff. So and like the score is so good. It's like it's got like this kind of. The best way to describe it is have you seen the movie Wind River?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Okay, so it's essentially think Wind River but Wolverine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, I mean it's in Alaska, not Wyoming, but still like it's out in the snow and stuff like that, and you can just like I can just see everything happening in my mind, and it's just such a great medium for them to tell this. I can't believe I haven't
heard of this.
Yeah, and so what happened is how I found it out is I remember at the end of last year I was like, what is this Wolverine the Long Night thing? I was like, I bet you have to pay for like this is at a time when I didn't know you could listen to podcasts and like they were on iTunes and they'd be free.
Yeah.
Which because we can't freaking put our thing on iTunes, But anyways, so I saw this Wolverine the Long Night thing, and I was like, "This is interesting." And they announced it at like I believe they announced it at San Diego Comic-Con that year. But they just announced they're doing a sequel, like a sequel series per se, and it's called Wolverine: The Lost Trail, and it takes place in the Louisiana Bayou. It takes place out in the swamps and stuff, and it's another Wolverine thing, obviously. So, this thing is awesome. Like. I don't know if we can get in trouble if we like play a clip of it or something. But if we can't play it, just go and look. They had there's like a trailer on their podcast thing. But each episode is 30 minutes. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So the guy who voices Wolverine is Richard Armitage, who played Thorin in The Hobbit
oh, that's cool.
So yes, and he does a fantastic job as Logan. There hasn't been a whole lot of Logan.
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
I've seen like fan cast of him and stuff, but like you kind of get a little bit of a Hugh Jackman vibe, but you also get like the comic book vibe and stuff. And like it's so good, and I'm like, this is amazing.
I see it right here. The Lost Trail podcast. That's I guess like a teaser coming.
Yeah, so that's the newest one they're doing, but the Long Night was the first one they did, and it's, I believe, 12 chapters. And yeah, I just like, maybe we can talk about it more next week after you've listened to it. I don't know if you're gonna listen to music on the way home or not, but honestly, with your drive, listen to the first episode on the way home.
Yeah, because I got about a 40-minute drive.
Oh, you got it covered. Just listen to it then. Just turn up the volume and stuff, and pay attention. Like,
that's so cool.
It's so good, dude. I'm like,
if you're listening right now, I'm looking at it on their YouTube channel, and it just looks.
Is it on their YouTube as well?
It's not on the YouTube channel, but somebody made like a playlist on there. It's another YouTuber made a playlist on there.
Let me
1,000 Ways to Die in Alaska. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so that's the first episode. So let me pull it up.
So where you got it on iTunes? Is that where you listen to it? Yeah, so like
here, Wolverine: The Long Night.
Gotcha.
Right there, and let me see if there's like a synopsis. Okay, see, and it's so interesting, like. Oh, okay, so it's got a 5 out of 5, but I was looking at the I was looking at the reviews, and there's like, and everyone's like 1 out of 5 stars and stuff, and I was like, what? But like majority of the reviews, there's like 4,000 ratings, and almost all of them are 5 stars. So I love it. Like, don't expect it to be more. It's more of like a drama than it is a
action.
Kind of think like kind of like. It's almost like True Detective, but like Wolverine.
That's what I was thinking, like a mystery.
Yeah, it's like a mystery thing. There's like they're like finding these pieces that are coming together. It feels very real and grounded. It feels like I'm listening to like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this guy who's like a clawed man. Like he's like it's so good, dude.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask like, if you think there could be other characters that they could do this with, but since you haven't listened to the first episode yet, I kind of want you to like kind of.
I'm already like thinking about it too.
But because I don't think the way this podcast is formatted, it makes the most sense with Wolverine.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow Wolverine the entire time. Like he pops up and things, and it's like it's centered around him. Like he is a core character, so it's about Wolverine. But I love that it's the main character is not Wolverine. It's these agents, and they're in this town. They're trying to figure out this mystery, like who killed these people, and the more and more pieces get added to the puzzle. Like, oh my! It really it's almost kind of like it also gives me what is the movie? Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman. The kids get kidnapped, and
Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, Prisoners.
It's almost like that as well. Like
I was like, what movie were they in together? And I kind of remember. Yeah. Okay, so so it's kind of like
it's like because
definitely a mystery, like crime drama mystery.
Yeah, it's like a thriller like mystery. It's so good. So.
So I'm going to be listening to this. Yeah. It'd be cool if other people end up listening to that too. That's listening. To the podcast.
I'd love to see.
We'll have to talk about that on the next episode then.
Yeah, because I think I have a hard time thinking. Like I said, I wanted to ask what other characters they could do, but really like this character, like it's so unique to Wolverine because like they're trying to like kind of hunt Logan, but like not necessarily, and it's like it's so good, and like I wish it was in. It almost kind of feels like it's in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it's like this is like the MCU, I'm gonna be so
sure.
Because they don't mention they don't mention like a whole lot of other stuff. There's not like all these other things. Like it feels like
very self-contained.
Like the beginning and stuff, because he's like he's on the run from not X-Force, Weapon X, and things like that. So it's like
an origin.
Yeah, so it's kind of like origin.
People are just finding out about this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good. I'm like, and it just makes me so excited for inevitably whenever they add the MCU. But this is like I feel like this is like a taste of like what they could do.
What's to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if they made a movie like this, like Wolverine, like it would be so unique. I can't wait for you to listen to it. Like, I almost want you to like just to message me when you get home and like actually listen to it. But like, we can talk about it more next week for sure.
That's exciting. That's cool. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know anything about it because I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw it and I was just like, I don't know what that is.
They uploaded like a lot. They upload a lot of different stuff. But I remember I just saw this Lost Year thing and I was like, okay, I need to investigate this because they did one. I think they did one earlier and I looked it up and I was like, literally yesterday. This is gonna sound really weird, but I went outside because I had to cut my nails and I was just like, I gotta listen to more of the podcast. Like, and so like, I sat out there for like 20 minutes and my dad opened the door and he was like, are you still alive out here? And I'm just like, oh no, I'm just listening to this Wolverine podcast. It's so good.
It's so funny. Are you one of those people that has to listen to something when you're doing like for me, like when I'm eating, like I have to have something playing. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like, I need to be listening to something. Like I can't start or like.
What I need to do is I need to do it while I'm eating. But like the thing is I'm someone who, like, this is probably a reason why I gained so much weight my freshman year of college. I lost it all. I'm not fat, I promise. but like I gained like 20 pounds because what I would do is. Like, I would just keep on eating even when I wasn't hungry because I would just be like, I just want to keep on watching YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to like, I may just listen to more. I guess I got to eat dinner. I got to eat dinner after this. So
yeah, I'm the same way. When I'm driving or anything that I'm doing, I cannot have silence. Like, I need like something.
I've been listening to so many podcasts while driving and things like that. So that's I'm so excited for you to listen to it because.
So I'm gonna listen to that on the way home. And then hopefully next week we'll be able to talk about that, depending on what kind of news. We still have 2 more weeks until Captain Marvel. So in 2 weeks, you guys will get our Captain Marvel review. It'll be our first review for the channel or for the
I'm excited
podcast.
I'm excited for that. Like, I'm hoping we can get a full like. I imagine we can get a full hour-long episode. It's
definitely.
Yeah.
Especially probably on post-credit scenes alone, we'll talk about 20 minutes worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll talk about how it ties into Endgame. Why do I always call it Infinity War?
My dad does the same thing. He just is like, oh yeah, Infinity War, and I'm like, but Infinity War already came out.
Yeah. That bugs me because it annoys me when other people do it, and I do it constantly.
It's because Infinity War. It was originally going to be Infinity War.
It's supposed to be this like thing, like these 2 things were supposed to be Infinity War, but yep. But anyways, we had a great week of news. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. Once again, I don't know. Maybe we need to start tweeting at iTunes and telling them to figure this crap out because I'm sick of the waiting. It's been a month. We got to figure out this iTunes thing.
Yeah.
If you are listening on YouTube, thank you because I know that's a pain.
It is, yes.
To listen on YouTube because you can't close your phone or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you are listening, thank you and please drop us a comment because we'll definitely appreciate that. And then let us know if there's some other platform that you maybe listen to a podcast on. It's like Spotify or Google Play or.
We want to get it out there. It's just maybe iTunes is really holding us back.
I know. I'm like, how come I can get it on every single thing except for iTunes?
Literally, like one of the most popular.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating to me about it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We did a whole month of podcast without any breaks, which I'm really excited about. That's a first for me.
Yeah.
Like no
weeks off. This is more than anything that was like ever done.
Yeah.
So
we broke a record.
We'll keep it going.
Awesome. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. The links will be in wherever you're listening to. So check the description for those. And then Comic Blast on Twitter is at comicblast_. Anything else you need to add?
I just wanted to say thanks for letting me be on here for like a month or whatever, because you said you posted something on someone
on Instagram. They're like, "What's the best part of the
best part?" And you're like, "Oh, working with Grayson."
It is.
And I was so easy. And I was like, "Oh, it makes me feel so happy." I was like, "I'm just so appreciated." Like, so just thank you for letting me be on here, and
it's been a blast.
For
pun intended.
Everyone tolerating my our rants.
Yeah, we'll get to more in the future.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm excited about the future of the podcast. And thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next week's
episode. See you guys.